Do you know who I am? I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal. People know me.
Listen, big deal. You got another problem. Women always figure out the truth. Always.
This is so nuts. I mean, listen to what you're saying. It's paranoid delusion. It's really sad. It's pathetic.
Am I? Or am I so sane that you just blew your mind?
That is the weirdest thing you have ever said.
It's the Al Travis Show. We are so excited to have our next guest on. He is the Don Shelby. We have the Statue of Liberty, we have the Ohio State University, and we have the Don Shelby. And I couldn't think of any others. Mr. Shelby, thank you for doing this show. True story. So you agreed to do this. I'm just going to consider myself lucky. And as I'm telling folks, my wife right away, she loves you and Nancy, of course, from the love letters. How? She starts telling people. I go to my golf group. I said, hey, I got Don Shelby coming on. Half of them, why would he go on your show? They're my friends, okay? And the other half's like, oh, my God, I can't believe you got him to be on the program. How is it in your life to be that guy that everybody knows and loves?
It is, first of all, it's great to be with you again now. And it is such a blessing for me because Dave Moore taught me a long time ago that you're not talking to a television camera. You're not doing a performance. You're talking to real people. You're talking to people with jobs and they have to get up in the morning and they depend on you. And you have to tell the truth. And you would be nothing without them because we live on ratings. And if you don't get them to trust you, if you do not act as though you're a guest in their home at 10 o'clock at night, for heaven's sakes, to let a total stranger into your bedroom requires trust, which you have to build. I mean, it took me, at CCO, it probably took me 8 years to build the trust. First 3 years, it wasn't working because I had been an investigative reporter with the I-Team. And people really didn't know me, and they adored Dave Moore. And he was, by every measure, he had the highest Q rating of any television news anchor, local television news anchor in the country. And more people knew his name than knew the name of the governor. Yeah. And he was in everybody's home, and he was a trusted voice for 32 years. And I got... when I started, this is back when people wrote letters or postcards. There was no email. I got 1,700 emails or letters, and all of them had the very same essence. And the essence was this: you are no Dave Moore.
People are mean.
Yeah, well, and boy, did I understand that, because I sat next to him for 25 years, and we shared our lives and stories. And I knew I could never compare to him. So I went out and I bought, for the first time in my life, I bought stationery with my name on it, little cards with envelopes. And everyone who sent me a letter like that with a return address, I wrote back to them the same sentence. Every one of them was, I didn't have to pen an original thought. I wrote the same thing. Dear sir, or madam, I know that better than you do.
I love that. I want to get into Dave. I'm going to go through your whole life, actually, because Dave Moore interests me. But can we do...
Before that, I'm going to show you this, though.
Oh. No way.
Yes.
All right. A friend of mine. I'm holding it up, too.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a big deal, too.
I know.
I'm no Dave Moore, and I'm surely no Don Shelby. But
I did not buy that. My daughters bought that for me for Father's Day.
A golf friend of mine did. I love that opening. But I want to I want to give everybody up to date. I think you made some fun before we got on the air. All these people saying that stuff are over 40. So some people may not know the breadth of Don Shelby. Can you give us the 1-minute version? Where were you born? Where did you grow up? Where did you go to school? How did you get the itch to be on TV? Can you kind of walk us through where we got and how many years on with CCO?
Sure. I was a show off as a kid. I wanted attention. In my family, I had a brother and sister. They were 8 and 11 years older than me. I was a mistake.
Ouch.
But my parents were so wonderful that they would say the greatest mistake we ever made. Okay. But it was clear that it was a mistake. And they had been through parenting, and they had been through seeing kids grow up and hangers hanging off of eyelids, after running into a closet, and people with broken bones and whatever. And there was nothing I could do that got their attention.
Funny.
So I ended up doing everything I possibly could to get attention. And some of that was good and some of it was bad. And but as so many things happen in life, the worst things turn out to be your best assets. And it just forced me to be on stage. It forced me to seek a career. I wanted to be an actor. My dad said, "Not on my dime, you're not. I'm not going to pay for that in college." Too much relies on whether a director or a casting person likes you. And so do something that actually is work. And so I went to the University of Cincinnati and got a degree in journalism. And to be very frank with you, for the first 10 years of my career, it was all about me. It was all about me being on television. It had nothing to do with the First Amendment. It had nothing to do with uncovering corruption, finding criminals in people's midst. It was just the fact that I was on television. Look at me, look at me, look at me.
And is Cincinnati where you first broke into TV? Were you born in Ohio?
No, I was born in Indiana. I grew up believing that my future was to play for the Boston Celtics or the Minneapolis Lakers. But that became clear to me when I wasn't even the best player on my team, that probably was not going to happen for me, and was one of my first heartbreaks that I could not be skilled enough to actually play basketball. But I ended up playing basketball for 28 years. Played high school, college, and all service ball. I was in the service for 4 years. And
what service? Don't gloss this up. What service were you in, sir?
United States Air Force.
Okay, and what did you do for the Air Force?
Guess.
Well, I would say fighter pilot because that's what you, but you probably weren't in 4 years. So
no,
I have no idea.
Television and radio production specialist.
Did you really?
Yeah,
okay.
AFRTS. So
Good.
I was oftentimes
Thank you for your service.
a disc jockey, and so I was support.
Okay.
I was not combat.
That's fair.
I'm a Vietnam era veteran, but I did not fight in Vietnam, so I don't claim that. But I was in that period. I went in at 69, came out 73. So. But I learned a lot about myself. And so anyway, my first job was in Charleston, South Carolina. I did a lot of radio in Cincinnati, but first television job was Charleston, South Carolina, then Houston, Texas, then up here.
Well, I have to take a break,
sure.
if you don't mind. Let's start here.
See, that's how boring I am. I have to take a break.
No, I could push it all down. You have no time on the other side, but as long as we're right where you came to Minnesota, which, quite frankly, that's all we care about. You got here. We're loving that you're here. Let's take over with Don Shelby when he hit Minnesota and how that happened. We'll talk with him next on the Al Travis Show.
Tired of one-sided media and divisive noise drowning out your conservative values? Take back the conversation with Braver Angels. Join a grassroots movement to restore civility and find common ground without compromising your principles. As a conservative, your voice matters. Share your perspective on issues like immigration and public health in Red Blue workshops and help rebuild trust in our great nation. Be a leader in depolarizing America. Sign up for free at mn.braverangels.org. Braver Angels, where conservatives, liberals, and independents unite for a stronger republic.
Achieving your financial goals requires individual planning and a comprehensive approach. At Midwest Money Management, our mission is to provide you with the knowledge, tools, and confidence to feel comfortable financially today and secure about tomorrow. Learn more at MidwestMoneyManagement.com. That's MidwestMoneyManagement.com.
Securities offered through JW Cole Financial Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services offered through JW Cole Advisors Inc., Midwest Money Management, and JW Cole Financial Inc. and JW Cole Advisors Inc. are unaffiliated entities.
Amongst friends, the Al Travis Show. Nothing but talk.
And we've got him, the Don Shelby, for following along. He's just getting to Minnesota now. What year was that? And you went right to TV at CCO. You're hired on as investigative journalism, right?
Yes.
Okay.
1978.
All right, 78.
Right. And then, so Dave had anchored for 32 years, and then I anchored for another 32 years, which is very odd for local television, because there's such a revolving door about anchors based on ratings and whether people like them or not. And it was very odd, and people wrote about it. Even the New York Times wrote about it, that this station in 60 years had only two anchors, and one replaced the other. But before I go any further, I'll just riff on that for a moment. So I'd been there for many, many years. Then WCCO Radio called me and said, would you like to have a radio show, Drive Time? Well, of course, I did. And it was an odd thing because I had to run between the two stations and still make the 6 o'clock news.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was an interesting thing. But when I took the position Dave had for all those years, as I told you, it took at least 3 or 4 years for people to accept me and have any respect for me and tune in. And the management thought, maybe this is not working at all. And what a terrible stroke of luck it was for me to not just progress in my career, but to replace the most beloved man ever in the history of a state. And it was almost an impossibility, and still is an impossibility. I've got pictures of Dave all over my den. I think about him all the time.
He was a great guy. The CCO of old, I'm not saying anything about today, but that was a juggernaut, right? Between CCO News and radio, they were the good neighbor. I mean, they were all that and then some, and they lived that premise.
This is how old it is, a good neighbor to the Northwest. Yeah. Back then, we were the Northwest part of the country.
Yeah, okay. I can live with that. Let me ask you this, though, because Senator French mentioned it. I don't know if it was on the air now during the break. I remember this clear as day. I'm a young kid, just in radio, trying to figure out how to tie a tie, and this Don Shelby knot shows up. It was like, as I understand the story, somebody didn't like the double Windsor you were wearing because it was too big around your neck. Some guy came up, flipped and flopped, and came up with this, and it became you. It was a national story. I got it off of the USA Today, I'm sure, on how to tie the Shelby knot.
Front page of the New York Times.
Okay, that would be
really.
Are
really?
You flipping kidding me? I mean, tell me the real quick story on the Shelby knot, because my kids use it today and they don't even know it because that's all I teach them.
Well, it shouldn't be called the Shelby knot to start with. Because I did not invent it. It was, and it was not invented by the guy who showed me because he learned it in military school. Oh. But Jerry Pratt was 92 years old. He was with the Chamber of Commerce. He had been watching television, and I wore a spread collar at that time. Yeah. And because I was a big deal, I thought I could have my shirts made, and so I had these shirts made. And the fellow who made these shirts, he made it. People would come and say, "I'd like to have one of those Shelby collars," and they would make it for him. And they come back and they'd say, "No, this is not the thing."
Yeah,
and they were tying a 4-in-hand or a half Windsor or double Windsor or whatever. And he said, "No, you're not tying it right. You need to tie it the way he ties it for that collar to look right."
Yep.
So he printed up an instruction card. And he sent it out to people. And in fact, it landed at Richard Smith, who was the fashion editor for the New York Times. It landed on his desk. I get a call, and they said, "This is Richard Smith in the New York Times." And I went, "Yeah." And I'm looking around the room to see.
Who's pranking you?
Yeah. And he said, "No, really, this is Richard Smith." And this claims to be the newest knot in the world, that there's never been a knot like this. And I went, "God, I actually don't even know what you're talking about." He said, "No, I got a card that was sent to me, and it's called the Shelby knot." And I said, "Oh my!" The guy at the store probably sent that out. And he said, "No, I went to Italy, where they keep the archives, and this is the newest knot in the world. I'd like to write a story." And so I'm on the front page, below the fold of the New York Times, and I'm in like 22 European newspapers. It was on People Magazine. I was on Good Morning America. I was on the Today Show with Jerry Pratt, because I had to bring Jerry on, going, "I didn't invent this. He showed it to me." And he was a dapper guy. And he reached up and I met him in the lobby of CCO, and he just grabbed my tie and took it off and retied it. And I said, "I'm going to tie this, Jerry. You're so kind. I'm going to tie this for as long as you live," which I figured was another 5 minutes.
That's right.
but no. And he lasted, So I kept on tying it. And then it got to be famous.
Yeah.
And, but it's been the bane of my existence, Al.
Why? Because guys like me have to ask you that story over and over.
Yeah. Forget the Emmys and the Peabodys on the bios and the introductions. It's just like you did, the originator of the Shelby knot. Well, I'm not any of those things. I did not originate. Jerry Pratt did not originate. It was a military school, Culver or someplace that he went to, that taught him how to tie the knot. And but I've been tying it the same way ever since. But it is always the lead. They go, Now we're going to introduce Don Shelby, the originator of the Shelby knot. And going, there's other stuff on that bio, dude.
Well, I want to get to it because I've enjoyed this. I really want sometime just some Dave Moore stories with you as well. But we're out of time for this one. Don, Mr. Shelby, love having you on the program. I absolutely do. And I'm hoping you'll come back and do some more stories with us. We haven't talked about half the stuff you're into. I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you.
Anytime.
All right. Well, we'll take you up on that. He's Don Shelby. Yeah, the guy who invented the knot on the Al Travis Show.